In Pajaka Kshetra lived Madhvacharya Bhatt, who was a great Brahmin, and his wife Vedavati. They had no children. In course of time they had 2 sons, but when they were very young, they died. They had 1 daughter, but they yearned to have a son. Not just for family purposes, because Krishna in the Paramatma is within the heart of everyone, and he orchestrates and stages the appearance of great personalities at times. So they had this deep longing to have a son in the service of the Lord. And they didn't take it cheaply. They understood it was dependent on a higher power, because they wanted to serve the Lord, who is that higher power, through having a son. So they decided to perform tapasya. They were doing all sorts of fasting, pujas, orienting practically their entire attention of life for this purpose. Madhvacharya Bhatt and Vedavati at the Ananteshwar temple especially, they offered their prayers, their devotion, regularly going there to do pujas, to surrender their hearts, their lives. And they did this for 12 years, never giving up hope, because they were performing this service for the pleasure of Lord Ananteshwar. Ananteshwar is Lord Narayan. Madhvacharya would go to the Ananteshwar temple every day from Pajaka Kshetra and spend many, many, many hours. And eventually, when the Lord's, by his own will, he sent his beloved devotee. In the Madhva Sampradaya, it is understood that Vasudev appeared 3 times. In Treta Yuga, he appeared as Hanuman. In Dwapara Yuga, as the elder brother of Arjuna, Bhima. And in the Kali Yuga, he appears as Sripad Madhvacharya. The child was so beautiful, so wonderful in every way. There was a name-giving ceremony where the whole family came together and Brahmins were chanting mantras. It's filled with devotion. And the child was given the name Vasudev. There are many stories and books written about the life of Madhvacharya. Just a few very well-known stories. His power of devotion, his intellect, and his physical strength as well were extraordinary. After all, he was an expansion of the same force that appeared as Hanuman and Bhima. When he was just a baby, his mother one time went out and asked Vasudev's sister, please take care of him while I'm away. Little baby started crying, and she didn't know what to do. He was hungry, and they were just a poor Brahmin family. They didn't have much wealth. They just had a little home in Pajaka Kshetra. But they had some cows, and the parents would boil what's called horse gram. It's a very, very cheap food that you feed cows. And there was a big pile of it, giant pile of it. And the little baby ate the entire pile. Cow food. It's impossible for humans to digest it. What to speak of an infant baby who's just drinking the milk of a mother. So the mother came back and she said, where's the horse gram? And the daughter says, Vasudev ate it all. So she was sure her son was going to die. Nobody can eat all that. And she did her prayers and her pujas. And Vasudev he was just smiling. He didn't have the slightest indigestion. Another day when he was just a tiny little baby, the mother and father were looking all over for him. Where did he go? Right at sunrise, he disappeared. And somebody said that we saw him after they were looking frantically all over the village of Pajaka Kshetra, they were told that we saw around sunrise a giant bull. And little Vasudeva was holding on to the tail of the bull as the bull was going into the forest. They were looking all day for him. They couldn't find him. Finally, right around sunset, 12 hours later, the bull comes back, and little Vasudeva smiling, holding on to the tail of the bull. When he was just around 3 or 4 years old, he was playing with his friends. And his mother told him that, go get your father, tell him lunch is ready. So little Vasudeva ran, and he could run really fast, and told his father, lunch is ready. His father looked really disturbed. He said, I cannot go home because I took a loan for farming purposes to buy a cow. I took a loan some time back, and the person who gave me the loan wants me to pay him back, but I don't have anything to pay him. So he's sitting on the steps outside of our house, and he refuses to eat anything until I pay him back. This is what kind of culture it was. If debtors just did that to people today, there would be no problem for us. Right? Do court cases, and call mafia people, and put you in jail. But in those days, they didn't have to do that. They would just come and fast. And Vasudev's father, how could I go in and eat when he's fasting and he's a guest at our house? So he couldn't eat. The father had to fast if he fasted. He couldn't come home. He would offer him food, he wouldn't eat, so the father couldn't eat. So the father just, I can't go home. That was the type of integrity people had in those days. So little Vasudeva, there was a tamarind tree just near his house. It's still there. And tamarind seeds fell from it. And little Vasudeva picked up a handful of tamarind seeds and gave them. Now there's different interpretations. Some say that the tamarind seeds turned into gold coins. So the person took them and was very happy and left. Others, even though they were tamarind seeds, they were offered in such a way that this person was transformed. So he left. And he was really happy. And after some time, Vasudev's father, Madhvacharya Bhatt, he got money to pay him back. And when he went to pay him back, he said, no, your son already paid me back. I can't accept anything more. He fully paid me. On another occasion, the mother and father went to a marriage in a village not too far from here. And there was all these festivities going on in the village. And suddenly little Vasudev, who was just a small child, he disappeared. And the parents were looking everywhere for him, but they couldn't find him. And ultimately, they were asking people, did you see this little boy? And somebody would say, he went that way. We saw him some hours ago. So the father went that way and met somebody else. Did you see my little son Vasudeva? He said, yeah, he was running this way. Finally, he came to the Ananteshwar temple, and the little tiny child was offering his full prostrated obeisance to Ananteshwar. The boy walked 16 miles, 20 kilometers to get there, all alone. So when the father saw him offering his obeisances, he was wondering, how could my little boy do this? And he said, who did you come with? That's what the father asked. And Vasudeva said, Bhagavan, he's always with me. This was quite awakening for the father. And the father prayed to Ananteshwar, please Bhagavan, always be there with my son. He's very restless.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on thesacredconnect.com.